This conference will now be recorded.
So, hi team, good morning. Thanks for joining. Myself, I am Abdul. I'm holding 13 plus years of IT industry experience and more than 8 years of real-time experience with Splunk. And today, this class is related to observability tool as a Splunk. So, to just give brief introduction on the Splunk, right? Before going to Splunk, hope whoever joined, right, they have some, I think, working experience, or else they are familiar with some of the other observability tools. And to start with, right, before going for observability tool and before going for this Splunk as a observability tool, we need to understand how the infrastructure is and what is the importance of observability in in this area, like area of monitoring. So why the observability is needed for any of the application, right? So if you see, if I give some brief introduction on that environment, right? How the real-time environments or real-time infrastructure looks like. Let me share my screen. 1 second. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. So, image for this video. I'm selecting everyone. Okay. So, to start with this, right? I would just like to give some how the things will be in a real-time systems. So, first of all, why we need to like monitor the application. So, if we take the real-time example, right? So, hope everyone are you able to see my screen, right? Frank, Sharda, Sanjay.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Yeah, thanks, Sanjay.
Yeah, no
So,
problem.
to understand why this observability needed and why we need, if you say, right, we can compare with our human body as well, right? Why we need to the monitor our health. So to have good good health, we do some tests and we do generate some reports, right? And we will monitor the vitals, how our health, and we will take some preventive actions, right? Similar way, any of the application like e-commerce and banking or whatever the application which is on online, right? So retail, online retail application. So there are a lot of customers for that application, and so many we don't know like what actually going inside. The customers are placing the order. We don't know whether those are legit customers or any security attack is going on, customers, right? We need to understand, we don't know, we it is very difficult for calling the customers and asking, so how the application it looks like, right? So we need to simulate, we need to get those responses from logs. So and we need to understand how our system is. So if we are able to estimate, right, how our system health and what are the obstacles in our system, then only we can take some preventive action, right? To take that preventive action and to analyze the system performance and to give the reports to customers, like how the system is behaving. Like if you are working as a observability engineer, or else if you are working as a like a site reliability engineer, or if you're working as an operational support engineer, like these are the main people, like I think users for this Splunk or any observability tool, who can use this Splunk or Datadog. Like we have a lot of observability tools in market to evaluate the performance of an application. Let's say if we take an e-commerce application where like we can purchase groceries, or else we can purchase some fashion items, all those stuff, and the estimated revenue for that like a site is 10 lakhs per annum. It's a base, like 10 lakhs per month. So if any outage happened, I like per day, if that system is giving like 1 lakh worth of orders, right? Like if system is breakdown like at least 30 to 40 minutes, that will be revenue loss, first of all. And second thing, right, in our market nowadays, like if you see, there are lot of competitions, right? If your site is not smooth, like people will check betterment of the site, and like even people will review how that like before, like if we are purchasing something, we will go through the reviews, and we will check how this system is giving, what are the obstacles we have, right? So to understand, to estimate, and to like give good performance, these observability tools are came into picture, so that we will evaluate in a perfect way. And like why, as a performance engineer, or else a site reliability engineer, right? So what my role to understand this observability tool. So I should understand first of all customer needs. Like this observability tool, like it's a very portable and very customizable, and like it is act, right? It will act based on the inputs we will give to that observability tool. Like if it is a retail company, like whatever the data come to retail, right, you can customize, they will provide the template, and you can customize, and you can evaluate the performance of that retail site. Let's say similar way, like if it is a healthcare domain, if it is a banking domain, and so many, like whatever the domains you have, right, it will take the inputs from there, and it will process that input, and it will give us to the output. So for any of the organization, like when we are working on a observability tool, right, we need to first understand what are the services they are using, and we need to understand what they need, to put it in an technical terminology, right? These are called observability principles, I can say. So what observability principles are, like SLA, SLO, and SLI. I think this is the main important whenever we are working with any of the observability tool rather than Splunk. So we should understand what is SLA, right? SLA for that service level agreement. SLA means service level. If you are already knows about this service level agreement, that should be fine. Like if you are new to this one, right, this is a key terminology. As I said, right, you need to understand the requirement from the customer, like what actually they need. So as a observability engineer, you need to work with the customer, and you need to define SLA, right? Whatever the services you have, let's say it's a retail site, or else it's a, yeah, whatever the, whenever you add an item to bag, right, like you can have an agreement, like my service, like whatever I am supporting this service, it will respond within 3 seconds, or else within 4 seconds. I will make sure to respond in that service if it is breached that threshold, right? And I will, like as a custom as a vendor, you need to compensate something. So not only service, event response also, if any incident occurs in a site, right, customers are unable to access the site, and they'll raise a alarm. How we will raise that alarm? Based on the alerts, I will give in detail what is alerts and what are dashboards. So with this high level, you can, you need to respond within 10 minutes for critical incident. Critical incidents means like customer is unable to add their product, customer unable to browse, entire system goes down and no customer is able to access the site. That is called critical incident. Whenever the critical incident happening right in a site, whatever the application you are supporting, so directly it will impact on the revenue. Most of the cases when it is a critical incident, first of all it will impact on a revenue, like and apart from revenue, reputation as well, right? If your site is down for 6 hours, no one will go to that site again because they will frustrated with that site. Even like if you are doing some couple of transactions and you are clicking on the order confirmation and it is spinning and the amount got deducted and your order got cancelled. So those things are very bad customer experience, and they never ever like visit your site, and eventually we like the application that retail site lose the customers. And what other indirect things will happen, right? They will socialize that, so don't go this site and it will give the bad user customer experience. So eventually all the things will impact on your application. So you have to define this service level agreement. Like if any such kind of issue occurs, I will respond within 10 minutes. I will mitigate. Mitigate means you can give the temporary fix to that issue and you will restore the system. So this is called service level agreement. So how we can achieve this service level agreement based on the, these are the key things, guys. Like try to understand, like whenever you are working on an observability tool, or whenever you are quote yourself as a site reliability engineer or performance engineer, right? Like if you are attending the interview or if you are working on a professional, these things mandatory thumb rule, you need to identify before starting or before working on any tool, what is SLA, what is SLO, and what is SLI, and error budget. So service level objective means to achieve this service level agreement, we will identify what are the services we have in our application. Let's say if our application have, right, for example, it's my retail service. So what services I have home page service, I have product service, I have search service, I have back service, I have order confirmation service, order like a customer login service, customer service. These all are the services. As a site reliability engineer or observability engineer, you need to identify what services I am the responsible. Like no one, like all will be like if it is a home page service, right? Like what is the if it is take, it's a home page microservice. I will tell main one more key thing about this microservices and monolithic architecture as well. So this home page service, how, what is your expectation? Like you will put, right, my this home page service will respond how many seconds? Like 4 seconds. Yeah. So you can define this objective, like yeah, my this home page service will respond in 4 seconds. So and this is product service or search service will respond in like 2 seconds only. If you search something, I can respond it in 2 seconds. So these all are service level objectives, like you need to define. Like, and this product service also like 5 seconds. Whenever I click on it, whenever any customer clicks on that any of the product, right, he will be like get response in like 6 seconds, not more than that. That is your service level objectives. You have to define those are of those objectives. So that, right, like if you have defined this objective and if you put some alert, like if it is goes behind 4 seconds, you least bother about this service level agreement, like to fix the issue. You proactively monitor this issue and you will mitigate before it is reaching to real customer, so that you can save your customer base, right? Like if you see Netflix, like Netflix is a platform where videos will streaming, some lot of customers will visualize at the same time. Like have you experienced any downtime for that streaming platform, or else this Google, right? 24 by 7 365 days, whenever you are searching something, right, it is giving how like the availability, that is called availability of the system. Always the system is available. And you know, right, hardly we could see this Google goes down in a year, in a 365 days only, we could see, right? At least I don't think it will be more than 1 minute or 2 minute, or else at least 5 minutes. Like if 5 minutes Google goes down, let's see how much impact on world I can say, because everyone is using globally as a Google, right? So that is the impact, how that Google is up and running. So that is what like Google have defined these SLA, SLO, SLI, and they express to world like we are applying this principle and we are using some observability, so that we are preventing the issue to come into the site. So like as we completed the service level agreement and service level objective, right? So similar way we have service level indicators. So what service level indicator means, so in Splunk, if you take in Splunk, so I can like to for product, how I can maintain these 4 seconds by avoiding errors or issues or exceptions. For that, what I need to do, I need to create the real metrics. So I need to create some dashboards like to monitor the fluctuations in the site. Like if anything goes wrong, right, immediately I need to identify, like if I see some 500 error spike, and if I see some like some error spike, 500, 400 error spike, right? So this is preventing our system to collect customers to search something for this respective service, and we can take immediate action to prevent this issue in a production, like a real customer, or else only 10, 15 customers is fine, like out of your 1 lakh or 50,000 customer base, because like they can rectify. No, that would not be like it's a minimal impact, we can say. So this is called service level indicators, like actual metrics which you will define to monitor your application. So combinedly, right? So to do all these things, like to all explaining is very good. I am explaining like I have defined this as SLOs, and I have defined that SLA, and I have created this SLI. Like to create this SLI, right? We have so many observability tools, like if you say Datadog also one of the observability tool, and New Relic also like one of the observability tool, Dynatrace also one of the observability tool, and at the same time our Splunk also one of the observability tool. So all these will do similar kind of job, and Splunk also it was there since a long back, and we can customize the dashboards, and we can set up the alerts, and we can monitor our application. So this is like a high level of main principles of observability. Like if you are in a company, you are already working, and some customers asked you, right, what actually principles of observability of principles of SRE, right? These are the key things you keep in mind while working, and you can explain clearly. So SLA, SLI, and SLO. So to apart from this, right, I just said these all are microservices. You need to understand two more things, that is how this infrastructure, right, like there are two types of architecture: monolithic and microservices. If you sometimes, like you might have heard, right, monolithic application, and you might have heard about microservices application, right? So sometimes what is the difference between this monolithic and microservices application? So why we need to understand, why I need to bother about to understand this monolithic, and why I need to understand this microservices as a observability engineer, right? Because this is the infrastructure, like this is the one where we will apply our observability, and totally different. Like if you are applying this monolithic application, your observability is totally different than this like a microservices environment. What monolithic application, like before I think 5 to 10 years before, like whatever the services I just mentioned, right, a home page and PDP page, product description page, search page, and I can say bag page and order. So actually everything I used to have in one server. And whenever any issue occurs, right, I think you remember, like before 5 to 10 years before, or 6 years, or before this microservices come into picture, everything is in a tightly coupled. And how the applications used to build, right, that time we used to use a Spring MVC, and Spring, or else a Java J2EE in programming languages side, where they used to have only one universal controller, 1 DB, and it's tightly coupled. Like if something goes on homepage, right, we used to make it down entire things. Like it used to impact on like this one PDP page, and search page, and bag page, and whatever order confirmation page. Like if some issue occurs in the home page, right, we used to down all the services, and our site used to goes down almost 5 to 6 hours. It used to very hard to restore this service. And this was very much a concern for end users, right? Whenever I was very happy to search something, and if I'm searching for jeans, due to this issue, the site used to take like 1 hour to get the response. Or else if only if I have I want to search for 100 plus jeans, right, if it is giving only 20, 30, or 2 5, right, so then that would be very hard, right, I won't visit this site. So to avoid these things, right, this microservices architecture came into picture. What they did, they decoupled this, and they created for this homepage. You will have some homepage microservice. And so it is independent of this is for homepage. Let's say it is homepage, like homepage, there is a homepage microservice, and pdp microservice, bag microservice, and order microservice. If something goes wrong in homepage, right, I'm not restricting any services to make down. Like it has its own DB, homepage will have its own DB. And second, like homepage have its own DB. And whatever issue occurs in homepage, and some other people already in PDP page, already in order confirmation page, already in the back page, right, I'm not making down these people, because I am just only this homepage has been happened, right. I will evaluate, like I have defined in a previous section I told you, right, the SLA, SLI, SLO. And I will be more proactively monitor, and I will restore this homepage service within, I even it even take it will 15 minutes or 30 minutes. Till then I don't my application won't impact other activities which already running into the system. A similar way, like something is happening in the PDP page, right, like it will interact with its own DB. And we will write the microservices, like monolithic, totally tightly coupled. And it will be if anything goes wrong, we need to make entire system down. And we need to perform multiple activities. And it used to take due to some this interdependent. But when I come to this microservices architecture, right, I no need to bother about anything. Like if I have an issue with product service, I need to only handle on the product service. Similar way bag service, similar way, right, order confirmation service. So after this microservices come into picture, our job on creating the dashboards, it becomes very easy. And so that we divide our monitoring as well, right, for Splunk you can monitor only home page separately, and you can monitor PDP page separately, and you can monitor back page separately, and you can monitor order confirmation page separately. And there is no interdependent. And we will prevent the issue to come into the production. That is preventing the issue to the production is called we can prevent, with the help of this Splunk, we can prevent that issue to occur in a production. And eventually, right, if we are preventing the issues in production, what we are doing, like we are saving a lot of revenue, not in rupees or like in dollars. It's a millions, billions of dollars you are saving to your customer. And even you can get more customers, right? If you are identify, hey, my product service is responding very hard, it is taking 3 seconds and like 4 seconds or else 15 seconds sometimes. What you will do, you will evaluate the logs and you will identify which service, which call is taking that much of time, and you can fix that product service, right? Then obviously traffic will increase, like if you are allowing traffic in a smoother way. And like nowadays, like even people also will happy if they get the response in very early, like they will compare how fast my system is responding, how fast, like if I am searching something, right? If I am getting that in 3 seconds, 4 seconds, like they'll compare and they will utilize. So this is the one more key thing, this like monolithic and microservices based architecture before we are actually going into the observability tool as a Splunk. And one more key thing I would like to share here. So these all are like very real time activities, is right? You can't find directly all these things in any of the like references, all the stuff, but you need to connect the dots. Like if you are like searching something on observability tool, they just give one area, but you need to connect why this SLI, SLA, SLO is important, and why this SLA, SLI, SLO is connecting with this architecture again, like a monolithic and microservices architecture. And why this, like right, why, what, how, these are the key principles we need to like keep in our mind while we are learning something, not only this observability tool. Like even though like if you are evaluating performance of the application using observability tool, and if you are working with the stakeholders to understand the requirement, right? So these are the key things you need to keep in mind, and you need to understand, you need to connect the dots. So in SRE terminology or in operational support or whatever, like while we are using, you need to connect the dot, like from where this service is starting, and how it is like moving. Like there are multiple services, right? Like this is a website. So one second. Like if you say normal architecture, like, and one more thing, you need to understand what is the on-prem data center and what is the cloud. So these are the terminologies. People, I interviewed most of the time, like the resources, they know the real time. They used to work on-prem, they used to work on cloud, they can understand very well on in the issue. But when I asked them what is the difference between on-prem and cloud, how you will connect these two things, and what on-prem will contains and what cloud, and what are the benefits, right? Those are the terminologies we need to understand very well, like on-prem. So till now, what we have understood what is the service level agreement, what is service level objective, and what is service level indicator. And one more thing, I just want to add apart from that, right? So like there is a error budget concept also will be there. Error budget is nothing but acceptable downtime on your application. So if you are new to this all this terminology, go through this session 2 to 3 times, then you will understand what actually I am discussing here. It is very much important. First time it will be very high, it will like hard to understand, but I am making in very low level to understand in a like a better way. But still, if you are struggling to understand these terminologies, right? Terminology will play a key role. So understand these things: SLA what, SLI what, SLO what, and what is monolithic architecture, what is microservices architecture, and why these are we need to bother about while we are learning about Splunk, because this is the base thing to start with the Splunk. If you don't know all these things, right? If I start or like installing Splunk. I have multiple log files. I can put one log file and I'll create a dashboard. I'll give you like this is the dashboard, this is observability. Then it will be very high level. It's very out of box. Nothing you will gain like in real time. You just understand the alert. You just understand the dashboard, but you understand the core concepts before going to that Splunk, right? It like wherever you go, like irrespective of the domain, I can say it is a retail domain, it is a banking domain, it is a whatever, it's a healthcare domain. So this is the base things. You can apply these principles SLA, SLO, SLI, and you need to understand what is the architecture, like what is the infrastructure I am working. Is it monolithic? You need to keep your observability setup in that way, whether it is in a microservices architecture. So you need to set up this. Splunk will helpful for this monolithic and the microservices both. And you can take the requirement from customer. You need to understand, you need to capable enough to explain them, yeah, this is what I want to monitor, and this is what metrics. And if the customer also come up with their plan, so they will give some. So apart from this, right, as I said, any of the, it should not we will make sure our application should not goes down. But this is a machinery, right? And changes are always a constant. So always, like business, if business stops to enhance something on their services, right, then there won't be there won't be any growth. Customer will be bored. Like if you see personalized pages, you can see, if you see any of the site, 1 year before and 1 year after, you can see lot of improvements, right, in banking domain and in healthcare and even retail. Like if you see the homepage in retail last year, if you compare with now, like they will enhance so many things. While enhancing these things and while we are putting the changes into our application, those changes, those enhancements will cause our system to go down, right? Like that goes down, that whatever the downtime, for example, I am using a retail site, like a payment system, customer payment system, and my this application will interact with the third party payment system. So I am calling this service, like whenever I click on pay now button, it will interact with the third party, some PayPal or something. Like let's say this is a third party credit service, and it will hit this. And like if this system goes down or else for some time, or else your service also goes down to connect this one due to some changes, right? So these things, this going down and this downtime will be acceptable. But every month your site is going down, every month your external systems are going outages, then how bad customer it is, right? Like today, like even nowadays, you might get some messages, right? My like our banking system goes on a maintenance mode for 3 hours. So they are explaining customers and they are making down those 3 hours, and they do whatever they want. Similar way, the error budget, right, acceptable downtime for some period of time, like for 1 year, you need to calculate. There is a calculation formula, I'll explain. So in high level, right, how much of downtime your service will accommodate, I can say, in 365 days, right? You can accommodate 7 days, or else 48 hours of downtime you can accept. Your business owner tells, right, yeah, out of 1 year, right, I can okay with the 3 days of downtime, entire 1 year. Those 3 days is not continuous 3 days. 2 days is downtime is fine for me, and it should not go beyond that if your customer is sales. So 2 days, right, 48 hours. Like you need to accumulate, like from January you have defined your error budget as a 48 hours, and in March, if some downtime occurs and your site goes down for at least 3 hours, 4 hours, right? You need to remove that 4 hours from your error budget. Now your error budget will be the 44 hours. And after 3 months, after 2 months, like after 6 months, all these error budget have, you need to, as a observability engineer or else SRE engineer, you need to calculate this error budget. And in 8 months, right, you have completed that error budget, still 4 months are left. And you need to discuss, you need to stop any changes into production, and you need to discuss with the business. So like we need to stop this change. How you can like evaluate all those errors or exceptions? By using these observability tools. Again, like here, right, even if you are checking with error budget, this observability tool is very much important. So to evaluate that error budget, right, I'm not randomly say, right, my site was down for 3 hours. Like business will ask what happened during the 3 hours, why your service is why that service went 3 hours down, and what actions you have taken. Then you have to showcase them by using this observability tool itself. So these are the core concepts, and I would highlight one more core concept. Uh, so that is do you know? I'm just keep on saying observability, observability. I'm not saying monitoring, right? So what is the difference between monitoring and observability? So why observability is important? Monitoring also there, right? So many years, we are just monitoring the system. What actually monitoring the system, right? So we will create the dashboards, and we will check the metrics, how the response time is there, and anything goes wrong in that response time, and how CPU utilization is there, what are the error rate. So this all we will monitor. There is no way, we are monitoring, and we are taking any action, like it is happening. Some CPU utilization is goes down, and you have written encountered an alert, and you are going to go though that servers, and you just restart, and you will take some heap dumps, and you will do all those activities. But you are not preventing anything, right? You are just monitoring, you are just doing the reactive activities. So to avoid these activities, reactive things, these tools like even Splunk, and even Datadog, and even new relic. So they come up with this observability concept. So when I say observability, I can say monitor only, right? Why I need to say observability, right? So whenever you are saying observability, right, you will focus on metrics. So these are the key things. Whenever wherever you go, this comes, like these metrics and logs and traces. So understand, guys, like whenever you are saying like someone asked, right, hey, what is observability? Then you need to mention, whenever I combine these metrics, logs and traces together, then it is called observability. Only just if I creating the dashboard, putting alerts, right, those are monitoring. Then then why this observability is important? I can do whatever the task is there in monitoring, right? Why I need to bother about these metrics, logs, traces? That comes metrics, like as I said, right? Whatever I'm discussing, it is interrelated. It's not completed. Like you need to understand from SLA, SLI and SLO. You need to understand this on-prem and microservices architecture, and you need to understand this monitoring and observability. So as I said, right, as part of SLI, I need to define these metrics. So this metrics will give us a view of our application, like how the things are, how metrics are looking. Metrics is nothing but CPU utilization, memory utilization, and some error rate, exceptions. Whenever you are seeing some spike in these things, right, you should have logs in place. Like what logs will give? As I said, right, some any of the service is taking long time, whatever the SLO we have defined. So if it is going beyond that long term, right, we need to identify these logs. We should make sure, like if anything goes in the system, right, so it should have proper logging in place, and logs, right? Like if you say customer, if you are working on customer creation microservices, you need to put a log customer created, customer added item to product. Like these all are the logs. These logs only we are forwarding to the Splunk. That's what, why I need to bother about, why, like I am learning Splunk, right? Why I need to bother about this observability concept, because to understand these things, like you need to connect. So these logs, with these logs, where you need to validate these logs in Splunk, right? Where you will monitor these metrics in Splunk. So you need to create the dashboard. Like if you know these things only, you can create a better dashboards in Splunk, and you can define better alert notification mechanism in Splunk. Else it will be very hard, right, to evaluate. So these metrics and logs and traces, I'm just keep on saying, right? Connecting the dots, right? This is the traces will connect the dot. Let's say you have your website and you are searching something, and this request, you need to understand the high level flow. Like this request will go to the microservices. From microservices, it will go to the cloud, API gateway, like we can say. Like whenever customers see something, it will go comes to APIM gateway. For there it will go to microservices, and from there it will go to the destination system. And like there are some external services also there, right? You will call some external services, and this is the external services. Now you are connecting the dots, right? Like if something is goes wrong, where actually the taking time from here to here, or from here to here, or from here to here, you need to identify. How we can identify? You need to, like, while developing itself, you maintain the session ID. So session ID, it is a key concept while you are working in a microservices, or whenever you are working as a observability engineer, right? So you need to validate, you are capable enough to validate the traces. As I said, right, observability consists of metrics, logs. This is the traces. And oh my god, this is external third party is giving a huge response for my request. Then immediately you will log this, and like if it is not that much of important, you just disconnect this, and you can have some what disaster recovery mechanism, like which cloud will provide, and you need to restore that services, and you can connect the dots, right? So you can easily say by connecting these dots, and you can restore the system with immediate effect. So this is traces also important. So whatever the core terminology we have discussed it today, that before going to Splunk, that is a key thing. So as part of our training, right, so we will be more focused on user base. Like Splunk is very vast nowadays. Splunk is using in machine learning. Splunk is using in security, and Splunk is using in admin level, all those things. But our focus would be whatever we are discussing, right? You should be capable enough to create the dashboards. You should capable enough to do the user management, creating the alerts. So that is a base, and you need to understand how the Splunk works. So these all I will discuss in upcoming sessions. So this is a very a high level, but these are the core concept. Not only Splunk, right? When you are going to learn any observability tool, and as I said, right, block your time these 20 days, and put focus more on whatever we are discussing. And I will put it in a more interactive way, as this is a core concepts, right? That's why I thought of explaining you. And if you are unable to digest in first class, even like it will take some time to understand this terminology, but the terminology is very much important, and the connecting the dots also very much important. And as a real time engineer, right, as a real time, whatever the issues I faced and whatever I shown, right, I connected with my understanding, and based on the issues I have handled, based on the utilization of the Splunk, right, I put all together, and I just explain you guys. And put some effort to understand these terminologies. If you know very well, it's a good enough. Like you are far in the system, in a market. If you don't know, right, if it is boring as well, you need to understand whatever today we discussed, right? What is SLA, SLO, SLI, and what is on-prem data center, what is one on-prem and cloud data center, what is monolithic and microservices infrastructure. All these things you should understand, and you should learn the concepts. That's it from my end. And yeah, hope I am not boring you guys, right?
No, not at all. Do you have any course material also?
Yes, yes, I will share.
Okay,
Share me your
okay.
WhatsApp numbers in
Yeah.
that WhatsApp group where I will share this. I have prepared good notes for this,
Okay,
and
yeah,
I will
yeah.
share this.
So
Okay.
once we enroll, then you can share, right? So not an
Yes,
issue,
yes.
right? Yeah, I have not enrolled yet. So I'm interested
Okay.
definitely. Yeah. So this is the any other course material you would share with us?
I will prepare along with
Okay.
our
And
course. Yeah, I have good material in
okay,
place.
yeah, because
So
that will be
today I,
helpful, right?
yeah, yeah, that is
Yeah.
very. I will focus on that. I will put it in very low level, you can understand. You can follow the steps as well.
Okay.
So, like for easy purpose, I used Paint so that you can understand the core
Yeah, yeah,
concepts.
no, got it. Yes.
Yeah, rather
So
than just putting an
I have few
PPT.
more questions. Can I ask? Yeah, yeah. Can I ask some? So classes are going to be Monday to Friday, correct?
Friday, exactly. There won't be any classes for
Weekend.
Saturday and Sunday, and
Okay.
there won't be any change on this the current time. It will be
7:30 a.m.
said
Right?
during
Yes.
yeah entire
Yeah.
course. And
Hmm.
as I said, right, I am like a real time guy. I know the real time. Activities issues, and I'll do my best to understand more, and based on your requirement, and we'll
Okay.
do better. It's a more interactive way. And
Right.
once you
Right.
install that Splunk, right, it will be more interesting, pretty much interesting. And
Sure.
how I will teach, right, it's not lecture to student methodology. I will
Hmm.
be more an interactive way. Will go frank. So we'll give the some requirement, and we'll focus on how to complete that, and we'll complete, and we'll go move further in this 20
Sure.
days.
Now, and what is the duration, Abdul, for this course?
20 working days, 20 working days.
So 4 weeks. 4 weeks, like within a month, right? It will be all complete.
Yes, almost 1 month it will be complete.
Okay. Okay. Not a long duration,
So,
right?
so
So
my question,
Yes.
sorry, my question is this, right? Is this uh, going to help us to get a job? And are you going to help us for resume preparation? Because
So
I just want to be in the, I just want to understand the, just Splunk because I want to do Splunk. That is why I'm looking for a very good place I can learn Splunk. And are we going to learn anything about Splunk app and
this course, as I said, right, there won't be direct Splunk jobs in market. So you should be operational support engineer. I'll say you there will be some site reliability engineer. As sometimes, right, a couple of developers will use this Splunk. So directly you won't get any direct Splunk jobs. So, and this course won't help to get direct Splunk jobs, Frank. And but this will help to understand if you are working an operational support team, and even if you familiar with Splunk, right, you can it will be helpful for you to connect with other observability tools as well. And yeah, that is the one. Second question you mentioned, right? Yeah, we will use Splunk Enterprise. It's a free version for 60 days, so that we can evaluate by using that.
okay, thank you.
So what we need to do in addition to your course to get a job as a Splunk engineer? Like, is there any
This is
advanced
like
course
Splunk
also?
engineer. Like if you have that Splunk engineer job,
Mhm.
yeah, this course will help as a user, right?
Okay.
To set up dashboards and alerts. Resume preparation, you can ping me personally. I will help
Mhm.
you to I can't assure on the resume perfectly, but I will evaluate your resume and I will help you to like put in a good way. So it's out of scope of this. It's based on your interest. And if you want some mock interviews, right? Like this session, like this course won't uh, give any jobs. Like this is learning session. And
No,
if you
I
feel like
understand.
I
Yeah.
want,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, like I'm just highlighting so that
No, no,
everyone
I
understands.
understand. But see, like after doing the course, right? If I
Uh,
pay attention and I understand the thing, then I should be able to put in my resume for a job, right? And then attend
exactly. Yeah.
interviews,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Now, I'm not
Yes.
saying that you will promise, but yeah, I should be able to answer question in interview
Correct.
and try
Yeah.
to get a job, right? Then only the purpose is
Yes, yes,
solved.
yes, yes. I have good experience on
Okay.
evaluating the candidates. I took
Uh-huh.
100 plus interviews, real-time interviews, and I will do some mock interviews if you are interested, Sanjay.
Yeah,
Sanjay,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, if
Sanjay,
you
yes.
would like to have some mock interviews, right? After this course, I'm happy to take one or two to three interviews.
Okay.
Hey, Abdul, why don't you take that interview? I'm happy and I will
Sure.
evaluate in a better way, like where you are
Yeah, yeah,
lacking
yeah.
and what you need to improve, and
Correct,
that
correct.
I can assure. And
Yeah.
even like I will give interview questions as well during this course, or else after completion of the course, what type of questions will be asking in an interview. Even I took a lot of Splunk interviews. I know what I can expect from the candidate. That's what I'm giving, right? I started this base concept. So whenever I am like taking some interview, right?